Free money can be pretty darn expensive. Consider the case of a rancher planning a fencing and water development project. The project would improve utilization and give pastures much needed rest after grazing. He was confident that the result would be a big increase in carrying capacity. 50 more cows the first year, another 50 the next year, and so on, until ultimately he thought he'd be able to run an additional 250 cows within 5 years. Many Ranching for Profit School graduates have realized that kind of result from cell grazing. He expected the project to cost $100,000 and thought he could get cost sharing through the EQIP program. His portion would have been about $30,000, with EQIP picking up the rest. The problem was he had missed the application deadline for the year. He didn't know, but he guessed that the approval process would take some time and that it might be 2 full grazing seasons before he could get going with the changes he wanted to make, assuming the project got approved. He wasn't very happy about that, but who turns down free money, right? Well, maybe he should. Let's compare 2 scenarios. In the first, he waits 2 years to begin construction, but he gets his free money. So, the first year, no change. Second year, no change. Third year, he's able to run 50 more cows. Fourth year, another 50 for a total of 100. Another 50 the next year, and so it goes. Look at what happens now in this second scenario if he invests his own money, $100,000 up front, and begins construction now. 50 more cows the first year. The second year, another 50. That gets us up to 100. 150 cows now the third year. 200 in the fourth. And 50 more cows in the fifth year for a total of 250. Now, let's guess that the gross margin of his cows is about $400 per head. That's a pretty typical gross margin for a commercial range-run cow these days. Let's see what kind of returns that this leads to. If he waits for the free money, then 5 years from now the total gross margin we can attribute to the project will be $120,000. He netted $90,000. Not a bad return on a $30,000 investment. He nets $90,000 in 3 years. But if he spends his own money and gets started with the project right away, the cumulative gross margin we can attribute to the project is $300,000, a net return of $200,000. You can make the case that waiting for the free money cost him $110,000. Of course, in this first scenario, in 2 more years he'll have achieved his carrying capacity target, having waited for the free money. But 10 years, 20 years, it'll still be lagging behind the income that this project generated. It'll never catch up. Now, of course, we don't know how carrying capacity will change, but there are ways to increase the confidence in our estimates. And whether we're spending $30,000 or $100,000, we want to take as much of the guesswork out of this as we can. That sounds like a good topic for a future Profit Tips. The point is, if the project is worth doing, it's worth doing on our own timeline, to our own specs, with our own money. If free money happens to be available for something you were going to do anyway, and you're comfortable with participating in government programs, might as well grab the cash. But if free money causes you to do something that you weren't going to do or alters the timeline for doing it, it could be a costly mistake.